So I'm going to do something to a Flux Raider that is going to make people cringe. I've thought about this a lot. Tonight, I spray painted her. I spray painted her because I decided I'm going to keep her. And basically, if I'm keeping her, there's only one way I'm going to do that. And it's because I'm going to make it a piece of art that shoots bullets. You guys like the movie Aliens, right? I'm making this like the M17 sidearm that they should have had in Aliens. That's what I'm making this. I'm going to cut the stock off of it. I'm going to take the rails completely out. I'm going to trim those rails to where they're little stubs of themselves and have the locking tab still to be held in. And then I'm going to cut the little brace hook itself off and sand it flat, maybe even fill in a little hole with some epoxy and make that look nice. But I'm going to do all that, and then I'm going to figure out how to permanently disable the stock latch mechanism thing, so it's just a release for the slide, because I like that. And then I'm hoping like the spring and lock mechanism will just hold each other in forever. I don't know. I'll have to address problems as they arise, but that'll be fun. This is my gunsmithing project. I bought this Flux Raider not entirely certain what I was going to do with it, but I loved it. And the more I play with it, the more that I have done this with a pistol a few times. I put a brace on a Glock years ago on Instagram. It was dope. But the dopest version of that gun was the ALG 6-second mount on a Glock 17 with no brace. That's what this thing reminds me of if you take that brace off of it. Except it's better in almost every way because it's a SIG. I love this fucking thing. I've been in love with it several times, and basically the argument in my head this entire time has been, what do we do with this that justifies keeping it? I know that doesn't make sense to you, but this is several $1,000s, basically. It's magazines and associated equipment. For me to keep that, it has to be something that I'm never going to sell. Like, if I'm ever going to sell it, I'm going to sell it now while it's brand new and shiny. That's how I am with guns, and a lot of people don't get that. I very often sell new toys. I play with them. I see what, there is to learn about them. I shoot them as much as I can afford to at the time, and then move on. Sometimes I mod the fuck out of them and then move on, and I like doing that. I like dropping fully customized pieces onto the open market at Wanamaker with no fanfare whatsoever and no increase in price whatsoever. Just like, I hope someday the guns that I actually painted that you can prove are the gun because the paint matches in the picture are worth more money. I really do. I think I'm going to paint more fucking guns. Like the crazy artist of the gun world. I'm going to be, what's his name? Tom Sachs of the gun world. You can't buy my product. I don't sell anything. I don't know how we're going to make money. I don't really care. I figure Patreon. Eventually, my art will show up on Gunbroker, and then the market will decide what my art sells for, and I won't make a dime off of it because that's how artists always get ripped off anyway. And I would rather it go to some schmo at a gun show than whoever. Even cooler is to offer for friends. Hey, I will come to your place with spray paint and spray paint your shit for you, and hand it back to you. Take pictures of it, post it, so that way it is one of those guns, but it's yours. I think this is dope, especially because I am never going to have an FFL. I'm never going to do this on a ton of guns. I'm doing this on my own personal guns as I use them. And when I don't have a further use for them anymore, I kind of tend to take a bunch of accessories off and sell them. But they're there with leftover paint. And I don't usually paint my accessories anyway. I did on this thing. I did a green tiger stripe paint job on this Flux Raider. And I did the flashlight and optic to go with it because, honestly, they're perfect. The only thing I would trade my Hollow Sun for would be an aim point. I think that's a waste of money. My Glock 17L had a real aim point T2 on it. I'm telling you, I've been beating the shit out of the Hollow Sun 4.3R for the last 2 years, something like that. I like it. I have one that there's no paint left on the corners of it because it rode on an AR-15 that just got ground into everything. They're great optics. And the Surefire light, where to start? I like the Surefire X300 quite a bit to start with. And I bought this one after not having owned one for several years. And now this one's 1,000 lumens. So I'm like, holy fuck, yay! Bonus! And I've got a bunch of mags for this thing. If it is a handgun and not a fucking PDW, it's even cooler to me. And I've been playing with this thing, and I can shoot this as a handgun. And I think I can do the cheek pistol thing, which if you haven't looked up the cheek pistol concept, do that. Forgotten Weapons has a video on it. It's very interesting. I don't know if I'll do that or not. It's more likely I'll just use it like a conventional handgun because it's really not that heavy. But once you add in 54 rounds of 9mm and 2 magazines and 2 aluminum extended base plates, it does get a little heavy. But, heavy is reliable and heavy's accurate. Give it that. And I don't plan on putting this thing in a holster. This is like a bag gun on a single point sling. If I can have a holster made for this thing, eventually, I might get that just for the LOLs of it. I seriously did look into getting a holster at one point. If I did, I'm getting a top charging handle thing for this thing next. I saw one that I finally like. I've been watching the market for that. I bought, the SIG threaded barrel was a no-brainer. The Harrington Comp was a no-brainer. The Surefire was a no-brainer. The Hollow Sun for me was a no-brainer. The SIG 21-round extended mags were a no-brainer because they were the only thing on the market. And I put 5-round extensions on them from, what the fuck is that company called? They're like Magpul, but like ghetto. What the fuck is that called? I don't think Googling Magpul Ghetto is going to fucking get me much, though. It's like Vertex or Intratex or something. Tex. T320 mag extension. Let's try that. Extension. Polymer. So that's the thing I like about these is that these are polymer base plates, and they're really held on. Strike Industries. I don't know what I was saying before, but it was way off from Strike, I think. So these look a little goofy, but they're cheap, they're light, and if you wrap them in 100-mile-an-hour tape, who gives a fuck? Which is what I'm going to do to them. And you could put those on the 33 round mags too, or 30 round mags that they're making now, which those look dope. And I saw some of those that are being made or customized, I don't know which, by one of the companies making the sights, and they're like $52 for a 30 round mag now. And I'm like, hot damn, and it's tempting. But if I'm going pistol, if anything, I might want some 17 rounders. Ow. This thing is going to be a crazy ass pistol. And my thoughts are I'm going to get a can of white spray paint next, and I'm going to spray it on a plate and use a brush to do this. I've done this before on guns. And I'm going to do some light touches. And like I'm going to do a rack number looking thing. It's like LV426. And then I'm going to put a little discreet wheel of paint on it somewhere. And I'm going to make this a Space Marine pistol. It's going to be dope. And really, if you pull the second mag out of it, this thing is light. You know, it's the mags I have in it right now are 17 round mags with 10 round extensions from Singer Precision or someplace like that. And they're heavy. They're heavy mags. But I think just I have this thing kind of as a knock-around gun. It goes a lot of places with me. The ones that are in it all the time being aluminum is probably a good thing. That's my thoughts on that. But if you're carrying 10 magazines, I wouldn't want to carry those. Between the aluminum base plates or whatever and all of the ammo in them, like the Strike Industries magazine is noticeably lighter. The ammo is a consistent thing, but if you can shave some weight, do it. Especially if it's a noticeable amount per magazine. It's the fact that it's per magazine that's the difference. You know, I have these couple mags for show, basically. I don't even know if I would actually use them. My full loadout for this thing is actually 8 of the other kind of mags. I have 6 to go in a rig and 2 to go in the gun. So, and for this thing right now, I'm just using ball ammo. I don't know. I have a big thing of the new Winchester military ammo for the 320. That's what I bought a whole bunch of that shit. I need to buy more of that shit, to be honest. I just emptied it out into a 30 cal ammo can. And my reasoning on that is I have the 320. It's basically an M17 without a safety on it. The version I got, it has the same sights and everything. I'm thinking about deleting the safety on this one. The only reason I wouldn't do that would be to carry it on a single point sling. And what I'm thinking about doing is deleting the safety, putting that top cocking charging handle on it, and then carrying it empty chamber. Which I know you're like, well, that gets you killed in the streets or whatever. Well, this thing is like you're not drawing this thing quick. Like if you know you're going into a situation where you might need like a semi-automatic submachine gun, a machine pistol. That's what this is. This would make a great machine pistol. I don't know. I think I'd be able to know. And that's why I think the single point, I'm okay with it being on the side because I'm just going to detach it. It's just to tote the thing around by. It's my PDW. I like this idea. I can't wait to have fucking, this and my Crom 1911 and the Tiger Stripe holster together as guns from Aliens would be cool. Because really, I got to thinking about it. My 1911 is basically, what if Corporal Hicks decided to be old school and just carry a 1911 on his hip? Like I keep this handy for close encounters. It's it would fit very much so into that universe. This is, someone decided to have a M17 because they're being old school or whatever. Either that or it's still in service, maybe. It's like they were using Berettas in that movie, and they were highly modified or whatever, but I think this is cooler. I would rather have this than the actual prop from Aliens. These are like my own props from Aliens. I think I'm going to put my little micro optic back on the 1911. It's now that. That's what it is. I'll learn to use it. It kind of sucks. I want to try using it more. If nothing else, it does make a much cooler prop. Like, I don't really intend to carry that gun much unless the world has ended. Like, the world is kind of ending, so maybe that's an argument for legitimately keeping good sights on it. But it would be so cool. Also, I use the laser on that gun a fuck ton. I use the laser more than I use the iron sights, probably. And when you're like, why? Well, it doesn't have night sights on it, and it has a light laser flashlight combo. Wonder why. So whatever's on it sight-wise is your daylight option in my mind. And as a daylight option for close range, that thing actually isn't bad. But the white 3-dot sights that are on it are better. So I kind of hate to take those off to put a worse sight on it just for aesthetics. But damn, it was cool. And my holster's cut for it. And it'll make cool pictures. Nothing else. I'm going to do it and take a picture. But fuck, my zero is perfect on the sights. I don't know. That's hard. That's much harder than the decision to cut the stock off. Or brace, whatever. They won't make up their minds on the laws, so I won't make up my minds about how I talk about them. I intend to follow the law, whatever they make it. And that's part of this is I don't want to be like a cuck and fucking, not have an SBR or whatever. But I legitimately was doing this anyway. And it's kind of like a fuck you to them. Like, they haven't even really changed it yet, and I don't even care what they think, but I'm going to cut the brace off anyway because it's better without it. Fuck them. I hate the ATF. The thing that excited me about this gun again is the charging handle. I was sitting here waiting for someone to develop a better way to charge this thing because it was not perfect. And I was like, I don't know what the issues are, but one of my issues was the safety. And I've pretty much fixed that issue because they make a safety delete kit now. And I'll just do that. That charging handle fixes all the rest of my issues with it. Especially one that does not hang off the side of the gun. It goes up top. For the way I'm going to use this thing, that's exactly how I want it. This is a mean motherfucker. It's about to get a lot meaner. Like, I wish I could fucking talk to Duke about this. It's so fucking cool. Anyway, I'll see you guys later.